Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some on-course testing with mid-handicap Dave. As you will see, we've got the full realm, and you will have seen from the thumbnail, we've got all the drivers here from the Paradigm range. We've got the Triple Diamond, we've got the X, and Dave has got the standard setting, what you'll have seen on last week's video, with the fade bias setting 11.5 degrees. And we're going to give those a go on the first 3 holes here at Waterfront. We're going to go 3 holes, we're going to have 3 balls, so 1 ball with each. We're going to start off with Dave's favourite, which is the standard Paradigm driver. We're then going to go into the second favourite, which is the X, and then, as we've now seen, the Triple Diamond is where we'd expect for Dave. So Dave, mid-handicapper, 90-mile-an-hour club head speed. The Triple Diamond was leading the race, only because we didn't have access to these two drivers. It's the only one we tested. It was the only one we tested. But now we can see it is where we'd expect. It is the least consistent for him out of the three, should I say. So Dave's going to lead us off with the normal Paradigm. He's going to hit 3 balls up this fairway. So a par 4 here at Waterfront, all slopes from the right. He's going to try and avoid the geese that have made home in the fairway. It's a great shot up the right hand side, so we've got it on that fade bias setting, so it has taken for Dave lefts out of the golf course, which is what we want to see. So as we can see here, we've got the Triple Diamond and the X, and we can see head profile is a little bit bigger with the X, as we'd expect, and then down again a little bit smaller with the standard Paradigm. So all 3 there, different looks. We're going to move on to the X. Okay, next up now, in for Dave, set at 12 degrees, so a little bit more loft, but this was one Dave certainly enjoyed. Yeah. Dave's going to come in now and give this a go. So we saw a few more lefts from this on the range. Again, that's a little bit of pilot error, but the fade bias on the standard Paradigm did help us get more up the middle for Dave. Let's see what today brings.
Left again.
A little bit out of balance, but certainly launched a little bit higher.
Yeah, it did.
A little bit of a draw, so it is the left side of the fairway, but we can see it still did want to turn over, Dave. Okay, so it was the favourite a couple of weeks ago, the Triple Diamond. It was the only one we've tested, so I've lofted this up to 11.5, so similar to the standard. But again, as we know with this driver, we have movable weights for launch conditions, but we don't have draw or fade bias. So let's see. So we've got the standard Paradigm, straight ball flight up the right hand side of the fairway. We've got the X turned a little bit over to the left. Now let's see what the Paradigm does. That's a great flight. Started up the right, and it has, well, it's running out there. So it'll be very interesting. That'll be very close to the standard Paradigm. So let's get up there and have a look.
Panic there, Chris. Neil lost a tee again.
Oh dear. Okay, so as we come up, the geese obviously knew how far Dave hit it. So this is the X, which is in line with the Triple Diamond just here, and then a good 10 yards further is the first shot we hit with the standard Paradigm. So very interesting there, what we saw inside, Dave.
Yeah, and you know, there was very little movement on the first one. The last one, the Triple Diamond, we got a bit of draw on, and obviously it moved the standard one, not the standard one, sorry, the X, moved a bit further left in the air.
Yeah, so very interesting with the fade bias is really helping Dave out. There was not any movement whatsoever on that one. It's held its line, it's ran out the furthest, and it's got a good 10 yards on both of these shots. So let's now move on and let's head to the second, past the geese. We're going to go reverse order now, so we're going to start with the Triple Diamond. So then we'll move back into the X, and then we'll go to the standard. A tough driving hole here on the second at Waterfront, so we've got to aim up the right. Again, Dave's not going to reach the bunker, so that is not a problem, but we need to see that we don't get a quick left one because there's trees here right away.
Thanks for putting that in mind, Chris.
No, you should be confident, Dave. So 3 balls in the fairway with the first 3, so good, but again, we saw with the standard fade bias driver that we've put on there, it was 10 yards further, which is what we want to see.
Certainly is.
For Dave. Okay, so a toe strike, Dave.
Yeah, it wasn't the best strike in the world, but do you know what?
up the right hand
It's
side,
all
so
right.
it's in play. Probably just missed the fairway, not by much, but it's in play. But I don't think it's going to be the furthest shot that it hits.
No.
Okay, so second up is the X driver. So again, this is the one we saw turn over the most on the first hole, and consistently on numbers TrackMan last week, that's what we certainly saw. So last Thursday we did see that we hit two great ones up the middle, 242, but then all the others were left up to 20 to 30 yards. And that's drawing nicely straight up the middle, so a nice low flight. Strike-wise, Dave?
That felt bob on, if I'm honest. That wasn't towy.
That's a technical term, guys. Bob
on.
That
It's a
felt
Yorkshire
so.
term.
Out of the middle, guys. A nice little draw down there. So it'll be very interesting now to see how that compares to the standard fade bias. So straight in now with the standard driver. So again, fade bias, guys. Dave's shot, and if you're going to get fitted, if you turn the ball over to the left, you might be somebody who has a fade bias driver like this. In the paradigm range, this would be the most consistent for you potentially, because it is going to help that face stay a little bit more open through impact. We can see that for Dave again.
Bit of a low flight, but
Very low flight, it's running out there,
it's running like an escaped convict.
but it only turned probably a yard. We saw with the X we got about 5 yards on the tracer, so let's get up there again and see the distance. Got today's first ball, so this is a triple diamond. We can see just missed the fairway, but it was a reasonable strike, but we can see it's at least 10 yards behind this one in the middle. This one in the middle is the final drive that Dave hit, so this is with a standard one. A missed strike, very much off the bottom.
Yep.
Probably got a total of 3 foot off the ground all the way, and that's why it's not run as far today. It would have run a long way in the summer, but not so far.
Looking
Then
no geese on this hole.
we saw over here, we have got the Paradigm X. So as Dave said, his technical term bob on, it was a perfect strike there, but even a perfect strike has only probably got 5 yards further, maybe 10 max, than a big miss hit with the standard driver. So again, that fade bias driver, Dave, no movement, not the best strike, but it's still done well.
Yeah, the other thing about the X is that, you know, I started it off at the bunker on the right hand side, and it's what, only 10 yards in from the trees on the on the left.
I did say on the tee maybe 5 yards, but probably 10 to 15 yards worth of draw on there. So again, not always controllable. If we was off a different tee there, if we was off the yellow tees and was aiming straight up the middle of the fairway, that might have brought in the trees for Dave. That's not what we need.
No.
Right, let's go and give these one more test. So clearly so far for me, it is between the standard and the X, but the standard, again, bang in the middle of the fairway. A missed hit has still nearly gone as far. Third and final hole here for testing. So a tough hole here, a tough par 4, a very tight funnel or tunnel or whatever we want to go with.
It's a funnel, Chris.
A funnel down to the fairway. So not the easiest of shots. We're going to start now with the Paradigm X. We're then going to go to the triple diamond and then finish with Dave's favourite so far, the fade bias. So if he's not shallow, he's fade bias. So let's see. So it's at the moment the race is down to the X and the normal Paradigm. We think the triple diamond is out of the race now. Now and in these two drivers down before next week, where we're going to hopefully have the Mizunos on to test. So again, Mizuno really catching up with some good reviews on the Mizuno drivers, so we want to give them a test. A lot of people have commented, so don't worry, I will be getting my hands on those when I go around to Mr. Robinson's house and take them. So Dave, Paradigm X, let's give it a go. Are you going to adjust here, Dave, with your aim?
I'm going to aim it down the left hand side, right hand side, Chris, a little bit, because I've got an awful feeling that if I don't, we could end up losing a ball.
Yeah, so Dave's going to aim a little bit down the right hand side, not the left, as I was worried when he said that. So down the right hand side, because we've seen with this club it's been consistent that we've had a little bit of a draw. And that is a fantastic drive. So flirted with the trees on the right.
But that's where I started it.
A little bit towy? Or was it good?
I thought it was good.
Okay.
It's just drawn too much.
Dave thought it was good, so it drew nicely back into the middle. So we're going to switch over now to the triple diamond.
Oh.
And a very low one
there
from Dave.
And left.
Yeah, low and left. A little bit, it would have been left centre of the fairway. I think it's just reached there, but not your finest, Dave.
No.
So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave.
No.
And a very low one from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favourite. And a very low one there from Dave. So let's switch over to the favour
Yes.
Which is right down the middle. Again, no movement whatsoever on that ball, Dave.
It's, and it wasn't hit right in the middle of the face either.
So it wasn't bob on, as the technical term is, but
slightly heely, but it's still come out well.
yeah, so straight down there. So it'd be very interesting to see where that goes in comparison to the Paradigm X. So you can see how tough of a driving hole this is. So the Paradigm Triple Diamond did make it just to the fairway, so it is just over there. Wasn't Dave's best shot,
No.
but then not much in front, so 5 yards. I'd say we've then got the one that Dave said he struck very well, which was the Paradigm X. It had a nice draw over those trees there into the middle.
Yeah.
But the miss hit, and the interesting one, and this is what we're all worried about. We're not worried about it. This is what we mainly want to focus on for a mid-handicap, is that an off-centred hit with Dave's standard Paradigm with the fade bias is the furthest. So even a miss strike there, Dave, has
Centre at fairway as well, Chris.
and it's centre of the fairway. No movement, a good ball flight. It's set at the right loft for him, and even a mis-centred hit down the middle has ran out and got the furthest.
Yeah. Can't complain about that.
So guys, that is the full range of Paradigm we've tested there with Dave. Obviously, it's finally good to get hold of all of them. Comments on previous videos, you were right. Again, the Triple Diamond maybe wasn't the most consistent when we've got out here. Very interesting that the fade bias has helped Dave straighten out his shot. So without thinking lessons straight away, if you're going for a fitting, if you're not going to be somebody who practices, we can get something fade bias. It has helped Dave straighten up his shots, and also his off-centred hits have gone much further. So looking around about 230 to 240. So next week, guys, we're going to be testing the Mizunos out. We've also got the Titleist still to test. Again, what we're going to be looking at next week is some ball testing, which we're going to film out here today. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of golf ball would suit Dave. That could change into the summer as well. But hopefully you've enjoyed these videos, guys. Comment below which driver have you been fitted for, and we'll see you again next week.
See you soon.